Hi everyone, I'm Simran, developer advocate at OpenObserve, and today we are breaking down two key concepts. One is monitoring and observability, and the other one is pillars of observability. Let's start with monitoring. Monitoring tells you what happened and when. For example, a spike in server errors, slow load times, or high CPU usage. It collects the data and alerts you so you can spot the problems quickly. Observability, it goes a step further. So it helps you figure out why something happened. It uses logs, metrics, and traces together to uncover the root cause of complex issues. In distributed systems where there are multiple services interacting with each other, talking to each other, monitoring alone isn't sufficient. Observability, it gives you the full picture. It lets you to investigate the issues that spans many components and to pinpoint exactly where the problem started. To truly achieve observability, we rely on three fundamental types of data, and each one captures a different perspective. Metrics tells you what's happening in numbers. Logs, they give you the story behind those numbers, and the traces, they show you how data flows from one service to another. Think about it. If your system started slowing down right now, what would you look at? What would the first number you'd check? So maybe you will check for latency, maybe for traffic, or maybe even CPU and memory usage, right? So those numbers are your metrics. Metrics are your systems like heartbeat. They show performance trends over time. For example, a drop in active users or like spike in processing times, all of them which signals that something's wrong, something's not normal. So they help you track what is happening at scale and all of those in real time. In OpenObserve, you can collect and visualize metrics very easily. You can create dashboards, you can define service level objectives, you can create alerts so that you can spot issues before user notices it and get them fixed. It's a simple way to keep your system healthy and predictable. But we all know numbers alone aren't enough because they can't tell you why something's wrong. To dig deeper, you need context, and that's where logs comes in. So logs are the detailed timestamp record of every event. Each log entry that captures what happened, when it happened, and often by whom. So let's look at the two entries we have here. The first entry, it tells at around 5:30 p.m. we have some information where a user named Alice clicked on add item button for the blue shoes. And the second entry, it talks about an error from the payment service which says something timed out and the payment processing failed for a particular order ID. So all this is the logs which are full of context, they are direct and they are actionable. How logs help. So when something fails, these are the logs which show you the exact sequence of events. What happened before it, what happened after it, when did it happen. So in OpenObserve, you can search, you can filter, and you can visualize logs in real time. Logs tells you what happened, everything line by line. But when there are hundreds of microservices talking to each other, it's like hard to see the bigger picture. That's where traces comes in. They connect all those dots. So traces follow a single request across multiple microservices. It's like attaching a tracking number to your request. They help you see where time is spent, where things have slowed down. And it's particularly important in microservices based architecture where a single call can like span multiple components. So if you take a close look at it, with logs, you were able to see that, okay, something is wrong with the payment service. But only when it comes to traces, you'll actually figure out why the payment service slowed down, why the error happened in the payment service, or which part of it caused it. So in OpenObserve, you can visualize traces end to end, like from front end to the database, and you can instantly spot where the latency or the where the errors have particularly occurred. So now let's see how this logs, metrics, and traces they work together like a team to solve the mystery of why softwares might be misbehaving. So imagine you have an online shopping site which suddenly triggers an alert that the error rate has spiked. You log into your monitoring system powered by metrics, which says that there is a high error rate on checkout. And that's your first clue to something's wrong. Now you go to the next part of your story, which is the logs. And you notice that, okay, the inventory service is failing and the payment services are failing. But it still doesn't tell you why it's particularly failing. So you go to the traces next. Now the traces reveal that, okay, the payment calls are being timed out after say 15 seconds, and the inventory checks are failing instantly for items shown in stock. So with that, you have solved the mystery that what is causing the issue. So metrics told you like what is happening, like a high error rate on checkout in this case. Logs, they tell you what specific event went wrong, like product not found in inventory, payment connection failed. And traces tells you where in the overall process the problem occurred and like why it happened. So if you enjoyed this breakdown, hit the like button, subscribe, and check out more observability stories with OpenObserve.